This Christmas weekend, many of us are gathering with family and friends to celebrate the holiday. Thanks to vaccines, we can see our loved ones safely. But for some, the holiday season is hard because they're missing their family members. KWWO's Emily Moss is live here in the studio to talk about grief during the holiday season. And Emily, this is something that a lot of families do struggle with.
Yeah, Daniel, grief and loss is hard any day of the year, but the holidays really amplify those feelings. The entire world is cheery and happy, but you may feel like you can't be, knowing a person that you love is gone.
It's just one of those times where you have like a hypersensitivity, and then that can be good and that can be very hard.
This Christmas, many families are navigating through pain with holes in their hearts and empty spots at the kitchen table. For some, the sudden tragedy of loss is hard to overcome.
Sudden tragic deaths are very confusing, and our brain doesn't usually know what to do with that.
Emotional Health Partners Emily Allaire says the key is taking it in, one step at a time, and setting boundaries.
When we are grieving, we have to really picture our lives pretty narrow, kind of like we're horses with blinders on, right? We really need to just tend to what is in front of us instead of feeling like we have to take it all on, take it all in.
Hope Tree CEO Sarah Kiani says a major part of overcoming grief is a practice called meaning making and finding positives in what's left in the aftermath of a loss.
I think it's human nature to avoid hard things, and grief and loss is one of the hardest things in the human experience. So our go-to is to do the sort of Minnesota, Iowa nice, like it's not there because it's just so huge. But underneath the surface, everyone is in pain.
Kiani says this holiday season, you shouldn't be afraid to bring up memories of lost loved ones because it's likely others are feeling the same way.
But it takes one brave person to break that ice, to say, you know, I wish mom was here, or remember mom's cookies, or, you know, my sister loved it when it snowed.
While holding on to the past, she says we should hold those still here a little tighter.
People around the circle of love have a responsibility to kind of step up and help carry that person through these holidays, because it's too hard to do by yourself.
And remembering the love those people once brought to our lives.
People don't want to ruin the day, or they don't want to cry, or they don't want to make everyone sad. But if we remember the joy and the love and the light that the past person hopefully has given us, through the tears then comes this beautiful, warm love.
Myself, like so many of you, I'm going through this grief process this holiday, and an important aspect the grief counselors mentioned to me is letting yourself feel, no matter what the feeling is. If you're happy, then be happy, and if you're sad and anxious, let yourself feel those things. And tonight, while you're with your loved ones, talk about that person you're missing. Daniel?
All right, Emily, thanks so much, and we're thinking of your family and so many families like yours. May your loved one's memory be a blessing. Another tip that the grief counselors have is to have a plan. Communicate with others. If you need to leave a situation because you're overwhelmed or feel anxious at a gathering, they'll understand.